All right, you're gonna have to go a little bit out there with me for this one, but stay with me. So if consciousness as the way that we understand it is the biggest, human evolution, the thing that separates us from like primates, then I have a follow-up question. Why are we still arguing morality based on looks? I mean, isn't that kind of primitive? Think about it. Consciousness is truly the way that we operate as evolved human beings, right? And that means consciousness is probably our most evolved muscle, organ, whatever you want to think of, but it's also the one that we seem to not really prioritize as being that distinctly important. I've been noticing more and more in these discourses as I'm talking to people and talking about ideologies, right? People seem to get this thing twisted. I'll have people sending me examples of people who look like me who are saying some very, offensive, heinous things or conservative rhetoric or whatever the rhetoric might be that opposes what people believe my ideologies are. They seem to believe that my argument is based on the fact that I am targeting or speaking about white people. But the issue is maybe it's because of like college, or maybe it's just because of like the exposure of people I've been around, or maybe it's a mixture of both and many other things. But I don't think this really is the primary determinant factor of of how heinous ideology could be. Because you may be black, or because we intersect in the LGBT community, or we share similar gender identities or whatever, it does not mean I'm immediately going to agree with you. In fact, it's more likely than not that I'm going to scrutinize you twice as hard because I'm trying to fight biases. This is not a battle of appearances. This is not a battle of, physical race or otherwise. This is a battle of ideologies. This is a battle of how people want to be governed or how people want to, interact in a society. That's what I feel like I'm seeing on the global scale of humanity. Like talking outside of cultures right now, on the macro scale of human beings as a whole species developing on this earth, it feels like right now we're in a cataclysm. We're in a transitionary point in our evolutionary path. And a big part of that is because I think that what we're starting to come across is this distinction of people who can view things as separated from physicality and cognition, and then they can make decisions based on how people are thinking, what they're feeling, what is the common experience between all of us, if not sensation, if not experience, if not, navigating this world through consciousness. I like to think of these people as the people who are like, whoa, this is suffering is bad. A lot of these people are like the suffering is always bad / the we're not free until we're all free kind of crowd. And I kind of find myself closer to them more than anything. On the other hand, you have people who might still be in that transitionary phase of trying to evolve, going through the existential crisis of trying to look past just race, right? Because these biases work both ways. We will always try to make our side, the things that look like us, more absolved or more innocent. And we will always demonize what seems to be our opposition based on the social culturalizations that we've been surrounded by. So these types of people with these ideologies, they struggle to bridge that gap of letting themselves see past that and see that there's nuance. That, wait a second, people who look like me can be bad, people who don't look like me can be good, and all the other spectrums in between that. So again, I have to ask, if consciousness is our evolutionary benefit, if it is the thing that distinctly makes us, these quote unquote evolved human beings, X, Y, and Z, then why do we prioritize all this other petty bullshit rather than how people feel, how people think, and how we treat each other? I'm just yapping though.